And Coach Holley, you don't know this is coming, I don't believe, but we're going to bring up the women's coach at William Jewell, Jill Minsky, who has spent 23 years with Coach Holley. And as she says, she spent 23 years with Coach Holley, riding buses with him, spending time in the office with him, and 18 years they were very close. The first 5 he ignored her. So we'd like to bring up Jill, please. Come on up to say a few words about Coach Holley.
No, he didn't know I was coming up here. So I wanted to first congratulate all the national championship coaches that are here. That's a goal of every coach and player, and not many get to experience that, so it's quite an accomplishment. I appreciate John McCarthy reaching out to me and asking if I would like to come and speak about Coach Holley for a few minutes. Not only is Coach Holley one of my best friends, but I was able to coach with and learn from one of the best coaches, most successful coaches around at any level for the past 23 years. You took my part. I tell people we have really only been friends for 18 years, though, because the first 5 he really didn't speak to me, and that is true. I know you have all seen or heard of all of his coaching successes, and we are celebrating those with him tonight. I wanted to share a different side of him. When thinking about some of the stories, and I have a lot, this is the one that sticks with me for a few reasons. About 9 years ago, I got into a pretty big health kick and was trying to get Coach Holley in it as well. One of my friends was the head of a health and fitness center, and they had this new body fat testing thing, and it was supposed to be the most accurate outside of underwater weighing. She told me that she would test both Coach Holley and me if I could convince him to do it. He was not overly excited about it, but finally I convinced him to go with me. The night before we went, my friend called and told me that for the readings to be accurate, we had to wear very little clothing. And then what we had to wear had to be spandex. She said my swimsuit would be fine, and then she asked me if Coach Holley owned a Speedo. Really. I told her, I don't know, but I'm really hoping not. He didn't, fortunately, so I got him a pair of biker shorts. We also had to wear swim caps. So there I am in this little room with Coach Holley standing in his biker shorts, swim cap, and that is it. I'm not sure I've ever made that much eye contact with someone before. I have yet to see anyone look good in biker shorts. Sorry, Coach Holley. You're probably wondering why I told this story. Well, first off, I love telling this story, and I thought what a perfect venue to do so. Secondly, I wanted you all to have the same visual that I have of Coach Holley. But lastly, and most importantly, you know you have a really special friend and a lifelong friend when they are willing to do something that they really didn't want to do, and something that would make them pretty vulnerable, knowing that this story was probably going to come out. And they are still willing to do that just because they knew it was important to you. This is who he is. He was willing to become one of my best friends, a women's basketball coach that would argue with him about court time on Larry Holley Court. The men's coach that on trips that would make sure his guys would let us get on or off the bus first or hold the door for our team as they walked in. He is the coach that would make sure his team was there on time to watch our team play. The friend that would drive 6 hours to support our women's team in a playoff game. At any time willing to sit and talk X's and O's or sit and ask about my family and truly want to know how I am doing and how each of my kids are doing. I have 6. The coach that may have a tough loss but would congratulate you on a win and let you know how proud he is of you and your team. The man that had flowers sent to our hotel when we qualified for the national tournament for the first time. Granted, when I got back, it was actually charged to my account inadvertently, so the gesture was there, so I appreciate that. The friend that went and spent the day in a 3rd grade classroom because my son invited him to Special Person Day. Thank you, Coach Holley, for being an example to so many young men on what it is to be a gentleman, a husband, and a father. Thank you for being an example on how to handle victory and defeat with class and humility. Thank you for the respect that you have given the game and what you have done for Missouri, Kansas City, Liberty, and William Jewell, bringing excellence and integrity in everything that you do. Thank you for showing us when life throws you unexpected heartbreak, how to handle it with strength and grace. But most importantly, thank you for being a friend to me and to so many others. You've made every day a great day and a fun day to be a Cardinal. I love you, and I'm so proud to call you my friend, Coach Larry Holley.
Wow, and I got to follow that. I'd like to say just a few words about Coach Holley, and then we'll call him up to say a few words. Over the course of his 48-year career as a collegiate head coach, according to Wikipedia, he won 919 games. But according to Coach Holley last night, he didn't nearly win that many. He swears it was only 918. So 918 career wins, making him the winningest coach in the state of Missouri and the 9th all-time among men's coaches at all levels of college basketball, having surpassed Bob Knight in 2018. In addition, he's been inducted into 5 Halls of Fame and is a 15-time Coach of the Year, including the Sears NABC NAIA National Coach of the Year in 1996 and the 2018 Kansas City Sports Commission Coach of the Year. Holley started his collegiate coaching career in 1969. By the way, I was born in 1970, at Central Methodist, where he was the head coach for 6 seasons. He then went on to Northwest Missouri State, where he was the head coach for 2 seasons before moving on to William Jewell, where he was there for 40 years as the head coach at his alma mater at William Jewell. Holley's been the recipient of the 2011 Earl Smith Award from the Kansas City Sports Commission. He's been inducted into the Greater Kansas City Amateur Sports Hall of Champions. In addition, he's received 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards, including the William Jewell Citation for Achievement in 2009, which is the highest honor given to an alumni for outstanding contribution in their field. In 2014, he was presented with the Gary Filbert Legacy Award for Lifetime Achievement, which is the highest honor presented by the Missouri Basketball Coaches Association. And in 2018, he received the Lambda Chi Alpha's Order of Achievement from the National Chapter, the highest honor granted to an alumnus of the fraternity for career success. In 1967, 3 years before I was born, the William Jewell graduate, Larry Holley, earned varsity letters in basketball, cross country, and track and field for the Cardinals, and he was named the Athlete of the Year as a senior. On the court, he scored 1,122 points, which ironically I think is interesting in the fact that he's sitting here close to Harry Statham, who won exactly 1,122 games. He scored exactly the same number of points in college basketball, and he received all conference and all district honors in 1967. Much like he is as a coach, Coach Larry Holley was heavily involved off the court, serving as the president of his fraternity, the president of the J Club, the vice president of the 1967 senior class, a member of the chapel choir, concert, and pep bands, and a member of the Men's Honor Fraternity. And he was the recipient of the Colonel Alexander Donovan Award, voted by the senior class as the most likely to succeed, which clearly they got that one right. Says President Dr. Elizabeth McLeod Walls, president of William Jewell, Larry Holley is an exemplary role model and engages in active citizenship on our campus. Coach Holley demonstrated this work ethic in his own life and the student athletes who also played in the band. He participated in student government. He was an alumnus who continues to be a leader for his fraternity, who serves as the face of our Hall of Fame committee, and as a coach who has been a faculty member and educating students in and outside of the classroom now for decades. We're grateful for all that Coach Holley has done to help Jewell and its students to thrive. And says Tom Eisenhower, the director of athletics at William Jewell, he said, "I'm thankful for the opportunity I've had to work alongside of Coach Holley as a coach and an administrator. His love of the game and his passion for Jewell is surpassed only by his love and his passion for his family. I've always admired his uncanny ability to befriend anyone he meets by making a connection with them. I wish Coach nothing but the best in his retirement and hopes that he knows that he will be missed around here." Ladies and gentlemen, it's really my distinct honor and privilege to bring up the all-time wins leader in the state of Missouri and a truly humble, special human being, Coach Larry Holley.
Wow. I want to tell you something that Coach Slominski said that I didn't speak to her for the first 5 years that we were together. Best 5 years of my life. That is a surprise, and I'll get emotional talking about her. But John, along with everybody else, I want to thank you. What you are doing is amazing. And thank you for that very kind introduction. He read it just like I wrote it. But we all do owe you such a debt of gratitude and thanks for all that you do for small college basketball. This has been an amazing experience. I'm honored and humbled to receive this recognition. I want to congratulate each individual and team that's been honored tonight. I didn't get any Coach of the Year awards. Our team didn't win a national title, but I am happy to be here. At a recent event, Coach Bill Self of the University of Kansas, when asked about my 900 wins, said, well, first of all, winning 900 games means he's really old. And my comment is, when you've coached for 90 years, you should average 10 wins a year as a basketball coach. Much like former football coach Steve Spurrier says, I'm just an old basketball coach, I'm just an old ball coach. My dad was a coach, and I spent much of my early years in the gym with him and his players. They were my heroes. You need to understand that I'm from Jameson, a small town in North Missouri with a population at that time of 175 people, a high school total of 51 students in the upper 4 grades when I graduated. I'm not trying to brag, but I am proud to say that I was valedictorian of my class. Well, I should stop there, but I should admit that there were only 10 in my graduating class. I should also add that my dad was superintendent of schools. My mother was a principal. I'm not making this up. And one of her duties was to record all the grades on the permanent reports. It would be easy for her to have changed many of my minuses to pluses. I honestly love the game of basketball. I honestly love coaching. I honestly love the players, past and present, and I try to never forget them. Some players I remember for their outstanding ability. Others I remember because they worked their tails off in practice, had contagious enthusiasm, helped their teammates get better while they often set the bench. One of our former players, Lewis Wilson, was just named the head coach at the University of Texas at Tyler, a new NCAA Division II program. Lewis was one of those bench players. We talked frequently, and on one of those occasions, he told me that when he played for me, he thought I was a bad coach because I didn't play him enough. When he started coaching, he found some video of when he played at Jewel. Now he thinks I was a bad coach because I played him too much. I have coached for 51 years. I began coaching before cell phones, before email, before internet. I coached when 8-track tapes and rotary phones were the rage. And all of my scouting reports were typed on an Elite typewriter, or was it a Pica typewriter? I forget. Most in this room don't even know what that is. At an early meeting with our incoming recruiting class each year, I have our upperclassmen visit with our first-year students. 3 topics. If I had it to do over, what would I do again? What would I not do? And what I wish I had done. Well, let me apply that to my coaching career. What would I do again? I would begin my coaching career exactly the way it happened. I began at a small high school in central Missouri, Harrisburg. I want to coach. In my first year as a coach there, I do have a question. Every coach in this room, I want you to think, how many games did you coach your first year of coaching? You don't have to yell it out, just think about that. My first year of coaching, I coached 91 games. I coached 6 teams. I had varsity JV junior high girls. I had varsity JV junior high boys. We practiced before school, during school, after school, Saturday mornings and Sunday afternoons. But I grew up watching my father do that. I should let you know that I was single at the time. What would I not do again? Probably overschedule non-conference games. We scheduled a lot of guaranteed games when I first started. Didn't help my winning percentage, but it was great competition. What I wish I had done. There are several, but I will mention 2. First, I wish I would have kept a daily journal. I have a pretty good memory, but when I see a former player or assistant coach, I'm reminded of some memories that had escaped me. And secondly, I wish I had spent more time with my family. As a coach at the college level, you realize that you could spend every waking moment on your job, coaching, scouting, recruiting, and I did a lot of that. Those who know me know that I'm big on quotes, whether it's in the locker room or in my office or on my daily plan sheet. Let me share 2 quotes which have meant a lot to me in my coaching life. It's amazing what can be accomplished when nobody cares who gets the credit. The leaders who work most effectively, it seems to me, rarely say I. They don't think I. They think we. They think team. They understand their job is to make the team function. They accept responsibility and don't sidestep it. But we gets the credit. This is what creates trust, what enables you to get the task done. Looking back on my coaching career, I honestly remember the tough losses more than the wins. A quote from Hal Urban's book, Life's Greatest Lessons, states that failure is one of life's greatest teachers. That is, it can be if we choose to learn from it rather than be crushed by it. He goes on to say that the world is divided into learners and non-learners. There are people who learn, who are open to what happens around them, who listen, who hear the lessons. When they do something stupid, they don't do it again. And when they do something that works a little bit, they do it even better and harder the next time. The question to ask is not whether you are a success or a failure, but whether you are a learner or a non-learner. As my coaching career has come to a close, many people consider me successful and a winner, but the truth is, I'm just a learner. This has been an amazing weekend. I owe a special thanks to my family. My parents are deceased, but my dad coached, and to my mom, who was my biggest fan. To my first wife, Ann, who passed away in 2006, and our 3 daughters. My wife, Linda, who is here tonight, who has experienced the ups and downs of my life, and who is so very supportive. My coaches at the high school and college levels, Tom McDaniel and Jim Nelson, to the many supportive administrators. And now I guess I need to thank Jill Slominski for being here tonight and telling a couple of stories. She is absolutely my best friend at William Jewell College. To the many outstanding assistant coaches, one of whom is here tonight, Christian Hildebrandt, we had an amazing year together. Christian played a year for us as well. But most of all, to the players who made me much smarter on most nights. I will close with something my college coach once told me. Never criticize a man until you have walked a mile in his shoes, because then you're a mile away, and you have his shoes. Thank you.